Hi, my name is Allie Stratton.
I'm Emma Weaver.
Hi guys, my name's Anna Whitney and I have an amazing opportunity to follow Donald Trump and Ben Carson on the 2016.
One of the most exciting things I've ever done. It was a huge adrenaline rush.
It was the scariest, most unnerving, most out of water experience.
If you put students in the right element, anything is possible.
Not only are we learning the skill, but we're applying the skill.
And I realized I love this, and this is what I want to do with my life.
They went out and they kicked butt, is what they did. This is something that's going to define their generation.
I'm very proud of their work.
We sent students somewhere, but they came back as working journalists.
What happens when a group of journalism students with no interest or experience in political reporting are exposed to the biggest political circus of the year? In search of an answer, Gaylord College has sent 14 students for the ride of their lifetime. In the middle of winter, they were sent to the largest media melee of the time, the 2016 Iowa presidential caucuses. Exposed to the elements, students turned into professional journalists by the end of the project. When they came back, they noticed some changes in themselves.
I was able to write half of a story in my head as I was driving. If we were to be out in the field right now, we could do pretty well.
We'll be covering the presidential candidates and the caucuses from a millennial's point of view.
This is the story of their transformation.
And we were coming in about 10:30. The snow was starting to fall. It was getting very, very cold.
That was just really shocking how cold it was. I have never been in a place that cold before.
I just assumed that we were going to be covering the elections from here, and we were to be writing stories from here. And I'd never envisioned for us to go to Iowa.
I honestly expected this trip to not go nearly as smoothly as it did.
Hi.
Starting with a week of frigid weather, both Iowa and the participating students began to heat up with the frenzy of the election campaign.
But within the first week, we came up with this story idea. We went to the event and we reported on it, and it actually ended up being a pretty good story. And so after publishing it on Huffington Post, I definitely felt a lot better about myself as a journalist because I had published something on a pretty reputable site.
Veterans at the Veterans of Foreign War Center in Des Moines have a very clear message for politicians. Keep them out of politics.
By the end of the project, students managed to produce over 30 news articles, over a dozen broadcast news pieces, 3 Spanish news stories for Telemundo, and a political satire.
Just to keep the continuity going.
Before I went to Iowa, I really didn't talk about politics at all, except for maybe, making jokes about Donald Trump.
I grew up in a house where my parents were two very, very different people politically, one from the north and one from the south. And so politics was never something that we talked about at home.
Okay, now I'm giving you some help.
Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and Gaylord College professor John Smeltzer teamed up with Peabody Award-winning journalist Mike Betcher to expose students to mainstream political reporting.
Here he is.
The ongoing 2016 presidential election gave them the perfect test ground.
They wanted to build a wall 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
I was watching one of the debates, and I don't remember what network it was on, but I saw 17 people lined up, standing behind lecterns for the Republican Party nomination, and I just said to myself, this is nuts. This is something that we need to figure out a way that we can be involved in. Dean Kelly bought into the plan immediately when I suggested it. And then the question became, where do we find the money?
Much of the trip to Iowa was underwritten by a great partner that we have here at Gaylord College, and that is the Ethics and Excellence in Journalism Foundation. I, in turn, went to Bob Ross. He was readily agreeable that we should use those funds from the school scholarship to help underwrite quite a bit of the expenses.
Without Ed's knowledge of how this should work and having the money from this foundation, it would not have happened. And now we have a model. Now we have the way to go forward.
if you see something you want to do, want to change.
But why would these students, from a generation known for having little interest in politics, enroll in such a class?
We're one of the largest generations in this country, and only 19% make it out to the polls. And so I wanted to ask my peers, do you vote? Why don't you vote?
Gaylord College provided accommodations for the students and set up a newsroom in the Des Moines area.
We were in a hotel, but essentially it was a home of our own. We had a kitchen, we had bedrooms, we had a little living room area.
We also had a newsroom that was about 15 minutes away from the actual hotel.
I loved having the whiteboards there to list all the stories we were working on so everyone could know what was happening. I loved just being able to sit around in a circular area so that all of us could see each other.
Iowans can stand nose to nose for an hour and a half and never see eye to eye.
Tom had put together people to come talk to us from Democratic, Republican sides, and then as well as other journalists.
And so he really did know the best of the best, who gave us the best information we could look for and gave us the most resources we could really ask for.
Important characteristic they all shared was that they wanted to learn. To me, that was the most important part of it, and that's why they transitioned so easily from being students into being young reporters, going out and covering stories and doing it pretty well.
It wasn't the cold, but the people in Iowa that shocked these visiting journalists the most, in a positive way.
Iowa gets treated very differently than a lot of other states because they are first, they caucus first, and it matters a lot in the election. So the candidates really get very up close and personal with the people there.
When you talk to people in Oklahoma, they almost have their political beliefs are from their parents or from what their friends believe. But in Iowa, everyone had a political opinion that was very informed.
The best aspect about Iowa was feeling like a true journalist.
We were there with all of the journalists that you see on TV. I remember I interviewed Mike Huckabee and Rick Santorum, and right next to me was standing the CNN journalist that I always see on TV. She's their political correspondent, and she had her microphone there, and she was asking them questions. Her mic was right next to mine.
I was there and met Martin O'Malley, so there were some close calls with the candidates. I got to cover Bernie Sanders, and I got to be about 4 feet away from former President Bill Clinton.
And I remember Amy and I laying in bed one afternoon, and Jeb Bush had tweeted out this video about a conspiracy between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And within minutes, Amy and I were writing a story, and we pitched it to John. He loved our idea. Within a couple of hours, we had it finished, we had it edited, and we had it posted onto the Huffington Post. And he told us it was a home run.
Some lessons were learned the hard way.
I went to a Ben Carson event, and an opportunity afterwards where Ben Carson was going to come and talk to the reporters that were there. I was asking him my question. I asked him my question. He answered it. He gave me kind of a cookie-cutter answer. And then after the fact, he left. All the other reporter left. I looked at my camera, and I realized that I had not turned on the recording.
I got shut down. I got turned away. I got told no. I got rude comments made. I've asked interview questions, and they said, a smart comment back. So I definitely got a taste of how it's gonna be once I graduate and once I get out into the real world.
Okay, and where are you from?
I am a local here.
Okay. There was a Fight for 15 protest, which is a movement about raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Just following the protest around and asking people questions and getting B-roll. It was just one of the most exciting things I've ever done. It was a huge adrenaline rush. It was easily my favorite part of the trip.
Hello, buenas tardes.
I did a story. I think one of my favorite stories was also a story on a dreamer, which is a student that has DACA and was brought to this country. Even though they don't have the right to vote, they are politically active. They vote on, they volunteer on campaigns, and they do voter registrations, and they do whatever they can to be politically active. And I think it really sets an example for people who are here lawfully and who can vote to be more politically active, because it's a right that we have and that sometimes we ignore.
senator has been able to build a stronger organization over Trump.
Sometimes there's a disconnect when you're dealing with students and it's a class project or something and they see it just as an assignment, but something clicks if they see it on a commercial entity.
Out of the 6 or 7 stories that I published, most of them were straightforward political reporting. But my favorite thing that I produced while I was in Iowa was definitely Sarah Pitts and we did a satire piece.
I'm Carrie Myset. And I'm Anya Neese. And we're reporting here live from...
And we sent the rap to an actress at UCLA.
Secretary of State. 9/11. This is not 2008. And I am back.
Getting to do political reporting and then kind of play with doing it in a satirical way, I don't think I would have gotten to do anything like that if I had just taken a normal semester and not gone to Iowa.
I am Hillary Clinton and I approve this message.
One of the things that Huffington Post always wants to do is expand their blogging community, expand their range of contributors. And I think it's especially important to get younger voices, student voices. They were finding really interesting stories, really compelling views. They got some great quotes. They were finding different angles. You know, I thought they did an amazing job.
Then Oklahoma-based ABC affiliate television station KOCO hopped on
14
board.
students from the University of Oklahoma here in Iowa.
I was shocked that an ABC affiliate from Oklahoma City, top 40, 50 odd market, wanted our content to put on the news.
And I saw my package air. I was like, wow, did that just really happen?
Hillary Clinton is fighting for the younger vote here in Iowa.
No one ever suspected in the professional world that we'd be putting out a product that they could use on air. And Channel 5, KOCO, the ABC affiliate in Oklahoma City, they saw the value in having students talk about issues that related to millennials, and they thought that that was key to their coverage.
This hotel bar with comfy chairs and dim lighting has created
These experiences gave students a renewed sense of confidence in their abilities as journalists.
You know, I think if I had the resources and the time that they have, I think I could maybe not make a package as good as or better, but, you know, almost comparable to what they can do, which is really exciting to think that, you know, I'm almost at that professional level.
And then it was time to head back home.
A lot of people on the trip they had an amazing time, but they were ready to be back at school. I wasn't ready to be back at school.
And I mean, I still miss it. There's no joke about that. Like, I still miss Iowa and what we did there.
Can I get your first name on? Sure, my name's Marcello.
But something was different. They felt something inside had changed, and it felt good.
I understand what I'm doing better now that have come back and I'm in class, and I think that it helps me be better in class.
I guess the experience I had, that I was exposed to, the environment, the deadline, made me not as stressed out for the pressure I had here in college when I got back. And I was able to make a package happen in one day compared to the students that have been working on a package for 3 weeks.
OU Nightly's Haley Huey joins us live from inside.
Before I was almost like scared, like I don't know if I should be contacting this person. And now I know as a journalist, it's my job and my right to contact this person and try and get whatever information I need from them. So I'm definitely bolder, which some people might not think is better.
And if you'd like to find out if there's lead paint in your...
Showing someone that is a lot different than just them reading your story. It puts them in the moment almost, and they can experience what you were experiencing. And that's kind of why I started to love broadcast, because I saw in Iowa how powerful broadcast could be.
Data is basically taking over everything. I think projects like this are what set students apart, and they did great representing the Huffington Post with their work. I'm very proud of their work, and this was not an easy project.
I was really heartened by the fact that they wanted to do issue stories and not just go out and cover the circus. And that was really another sort of great moment for me, and reinforced my belief that there is a future in journalism, and these 14 kids pretty much made me feel really good about it.
He's in class right now. We had 18 applications. We accepted 14, and it's turned out to be the best thing that we've been involved in since I've been here at OU.
It's enthusiasm at its core, and that's what this project was about.
I believe that Gaylord College has set the standard.
We sent 14 students to Iowa, and we came back with 14 journalists. That's about the highest praise that I think we could put onto any kind of a program that we would ever execute here at Gaylord College.
While we're here, we'll produce video, print, and online stories that you can find on okroots.com.
So follow us in Iowa.
I'm Anna Whitney.
Matt Trevally.
Lindsay Gomez.
Gloria Noble, Oklahoma Roots for KOCO, Channel 5.